This is where I'm going all in on crypto, specifically in altcoins. Over the last couple of weeks, I've shown you trades. I've been telling you when I was buying, when I was selling these cryptos, but I'm telling you guys right now, I'm about to level up. I'm about to do some really crazy stuff as I'm literally going to lock in. Like right now, I've been telling you this for a while, is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I've seen multiple crypto cycles come and go, but I believe this is going to be the biggest one. And for that reason, right now, I'm telling every single one of you, pay close attention to what happens to crypto over the next few weeks. Ethereum today shot above $4,000 for the first time in a very long time. I didn't say it was going to be an easy road, but I'm telling you that if this is my own strategy, right? If I just religiously buy every single crypto dip that occurs, and this is why I'm going to spend a lot more time behind my computer, a lot more time monitoring these levels and putting a lot more orders in. It has been so freaking easy to make tons of money. And I think many are overlooking just how simple it gets. I mean, if you're a trader, this you got to listen very, very clearly. If you're a hodler, here's the only thing I'll quickly say. Right now is a time where you don't have to think too much about selling, but you got to think about, hey, how long is this bull run going to last? Maybe another, 12 months or so? Like maximum a year and 3 months. But I'm personally thinking maybe 9 to 12 months. If that's the case, when do I got to start selling? If I've got a sell target in mind, like a dollar term or time-ish, well, then I got to still kind of buy as much up until that point, right? And so what I'm telling you about here is more important for traders who are gonna want to use every dip opportunity to stack up as much as possible to sell on the top. But even if you're not selling, you got to think about it, right? The more dips you're able to buy, the more coins you'll be able to eventually sell. And this is my strategy. It's worked for many years. It'll work again, even if you don't understand it or you call me stupid. Just know you'll see these trades in $1, maybe $2, maybe $3 million worth of profits over the next few months. Just keep watching, you'll see. It could be way more. It depends on how hard I'm going to lock in on the stream, or at least in these video trades, but I'll show you a lot of cool stuff over time. That's how confident I am. That's why I'm telling you guys right now. So here, for example, we put $250 in on this XRP trade. Right now, it's in 3.5K worth of profit. If I had just followed my own strategy on the stream here and just bought every single time it dipped lower, every single time religiously, for example, every single time it went back to roughly this level right here, right? $22.22. You can see I could have bought multiple times, out of which every single time I could have quickly flipped it for a pretty good amount of profit. Let's just say I wasn't perfect, but let's just say I could have flipped it for about 7% worth of profit. If I just religiously bought my way down, even if I started at $2.90, you can see how much I could have flipped it at, or how much I could have flipped it for. And again, this requires us to go slightly lower on the initial buy-in to double down, triple down, quadruple down if things really go and decide to go down hard. But we're basically basing this on the idea that the bull market is not going to be over, and that's the only risk you've got. That the bull run is over right now. We're never going to make another high for any of these coins. You do not make another all-time high or a high above the current. For example, with XRP, I'm not talking about the fact that you need a $2.95. No, I'm talking about a new high point. For example, if we're looking at a chart, right, and the chart is literally just this, it is almost impossible to trade this into profit. However, and the same thing goes for this, right? All these sort of charts are extremely hard to make profit on, but very unlikely. Usually it looks like this, or at least to some extent something like this, where if you just really get yourself quite lucky with any of these buys, even if you did not manage to sell, for example, this bounce back up, maybe you could have bought 100 units, for example, right here. I can't really easily write it with this little arrow thing, and you bought 300 or 400 units right here. Then maybe on the move back up towards this top, or maybe you got unlucky, you didn't buy anything here, but on this top then, right, as it's slightly higher than the one we saw right there, you were able to sell it all now for example, if we bought all of this in for, let's just say $700, whatever, that we are right now able to sell it for example, $800. I'm putting 70 and 80, but you guys get the idea. So even though our original buy was really, really bad at that point, I mean, it wasn't bad from the perspective that we could have bought it at a worse point. Let's just say we were bad because it went down so much. If we keep adding on these dips, on the flips back upwards, we are still able to make a lot of profit, even in a general downtrend. But the funny thing is, guys, this is where it gets so freaking funny. There is no downtrend. There hasn't been for 2 years. And most likely, it will not happen for the next 6 months. So if we, and this is my own opinion, right, Please do not think of this as financial advice. Just if you do not find it logical, don't follow this. Please don't. But if we just religiously, like I've just been showing you here, buy the freaking dip, and we don't go with too much money all at once, so we have some room to add margin, it is almost impossible to lose at this game. Right now, XRP is seeing a breakout, but it's going to take some time for this video to upload. I already know it because I just posted another video, and there always needs to be some time between them, otherwise nobody sees them. And there's nothing too urgent about this video. Even if prices drop back to $2, everything that I'm saying here is still relevant. It's all about not panicking, and it's all about understanding the flow. And the flow is the fact that it will get scary every single time things drop, but that's when things, theoretically speaking, get better for you. If you see a massive correction towards the downside of this move from $2.90 to $2.30, if you right now already beforehand, for example, have orders in at, let's just call it here, 194, right? We can already put orders in saying, hey, we want to buy, for example, 100,000 units the moment we get to that level. Now, again, I'm not saying it's going to bounce guaranteed off of that, but we keep looking at every single interesting point where the XP price faced a lot of turbulence in the past. For example, $1.50 something, $1.56 I think was an interesting one. And for example, the psychological $2 barrier, even though there wasn't really any struggle there, it was mostly just below it at 196 and 199, I think it was. If we keep buying just slightly above those levels, expecting them to bounce back, most of the time it will hold because it's a bull market. So generally speaking, you go more up. That's why we're not talking about shorting here. We're only talking about longing because shorting requires a different tactic. Now, will this work? On the short term, if you have your leeway very little, with very high leverage, for example, this might not work. And some people I'll see in the comment section already saying, Dusty, I tried this and I got wrecked. Well, I've been doing it for many months. Even when times were really, really bad, I was in a really big negative. But if you're doing it right, you can't get wrecked. So again, I've had positions liquidated for tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why? Because I was not paying close attention, I was out partying, pick your number, or because I just got reckless because of the crazy amount of profit that you've had before. You're thinking, it'll work out fine, and you don't keep looking at it. And these all, right, all these, they were all at a big negative before. All these trades were at minus 100,000 in total or something like that. And right now it's plus 130,000 because I was patient and I kept adding when things were lower. But for the most part with Ethereum, just know that I lowered that trade. This was a way bigger size trade before. I lowered the trade once I got back into a slight profit to make sure to pay for some funding fees. You can still see it's minus 2.5K because it's been open for a while. But I was patient, and even you guys saw it go from, I think maybe even minus 2K when I showed it for the first time this season, which is like a few weeks back. Because $3,000 per ETH was not too long ago. Matter of fact, it was the 20th of November, you can see, that we last touched that point. But I think the moment that I got in was... The moment I opened that trade was so incredibly long ago. I think it was probably somewhere here in the back of July, maybe the beginning of July, one of those. And then the price went down, as you can see, right? This was awful to watch as my position was down a lot. And at the start, it was also significantly bigger. But we got rid of a lot of ETH as the price started moving back up somewhere. Maybe it was actually in like, for example, right? Let's say it was in June or something. And then I kept adding as prices went down lower. You can't see it in here no more though. And I remember this week of August the 5th that things started looking really, really bad. And it was in one of its worst minuses on just that trade, by the way. But all these trades, the Bitcoin trade, the XRP trade, they were all at a massive loss. This Solana trade that I had open back then was significant, and it got liquidated because I was careless, and the price went to $100 per SOL, and I just didn't expect that to happen. But again, it's okay because, again, right now you can see how we were able to flip it all. And as long, theoretically speaking, as you keep adding more margin as things go down lower, and you keep making sure your liquidation price is not ridiculous, in my opinion, you will be fine. And that's how some of my friends, for example, a lot of my friends show trades on their channels. And you might wonder how some of them have open, even Chris, Crypto, for example, has what? $30 million in the profit on his trades open, maybe 25 million, I can't remember. And it's mostly from what I'm talking about here. It's mostly thinking on a broader horizon. Yes, he also put a lot of money in, so it's not completely fair. It's all relative. I try to show you with smaller sizes to flip it big because I think it's way more relatable to most people than putting $3 million in and flipping it into 6 million. It's way cooler to flip, for example, this XRP, where is it now? It's way cooler to, for example, flip $1,000 into $30,000 than to flip $30,000 into $60,000, right? Because obviously still it's the same amount of money gained, but one is with 1,000 and the other one required 30. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the matter. I'm going to be buying the freaking dip more religiously. I think there's just going to be times here where I'm not going to leave for a while just to make sure I put all my orders in up front And I'm going to be watching it a lot more carefully and doing a lot more updates just on price. If you also follow along with the trading, make sure you check out Blowfin. A link is down below. I might post more trades on the Dusty Trades channel as well. I might just put more in Discord. I'm not so sure when I'm going to put more, but generally speaking, if you're just watching these videos religiously, you'll probably get all my updates. But generally speaking, it's going to be based on mostly buying at the right time. I mean, we could sell at major resistances, sure, but we're mostly going to be focusing on where exactly is it wise to buy. For example, when you're looking at Ethereum, right? And we're looking at it from this perspective, well, anytime it goes back down to these areas, it would have been wise to buy. We're not going to get anywhere close to that though. So on a weekly trend, not really that useful to buy. We only know that if there was a downtrend to form on the short term for ETH, where we want to buy, well, we'd really want to start looking at points close to 2600 or so to have our liquidation under. So that would basically mean if we have, for example, now for ETH, a liquidation at $2,000 100, so 2100, we're probably fine because this season it doesn't really look as if it's going to go lower than that. It has not fallen below this line since June 2022, let's just call it. What are the probabilities of that happening now? If there's a crazy flash crash, sure, but that's again what we got to have our extra additional margin in for in case of something really, really crazy like that. But generally speaking, if we're basing it on the idea of this line, which I think is fair to do, I don't think it's crazy assessment, then it's still a lot of leeway, and you do not have to have a trade open with initially a liquidation that low. It just means that you got to be prepared to keep buying your way down lower and add more margin to at least that level. And if it falls below, again, I know how to play the game. I'll explain more as we go. But generally speaking, this is my opinion, not financial advice. If you're able to play it down that low in case of something bad, because most likely we're just going to keep moving up with slight moves down, right? But probably not that much down because it's a 40% move and almost nobody trades with this far a spread in the sense of that you are going to give yourself a 40% correction chance. It's very, very unlikely. But I'm just saying that that would be, in my case, the worst scenario. I will not really be preparing for it. I'm just in the back of my head. I've got it that, hey, I've got to have different orders all the way up until that level. Mentally, I don't got to put them in upfront already if I don't want to spend the cash on it just quite yet to get the orders in. But generally speaking, this is what I'm going to do, right? A lot of these trades, I open a new account where I'm going to do a $5,000 to $1 million challenge, right? I might want to put a lot more money in it and just go a bit bigger to expedite the process a little bit and just go way harder on buying the dips more religiously because I'm tired of taking it too small here. We got to go big or go home. This is the freaking run of runs. And I'm not saying go over your risk tolerance. Please. Go wherever you feel comfortable at. But I also remember that this is the point where things get uncomfortable, but either can go really spiral out of control or fall back down hard. And I'm taking the chances that the market is going to stay green, not necessarily for this week or this month. It could go down hard. I don't really mind that. Even if we go down 20% on Bitcoin, even if we go back all the way down to 80,000 Bitcoin, it's fine. But then again, we're going to be bouncing, just to show you, we're going to be bouncing back freaking hard over the next few months. That is what I'm expecting, ladies and gentlemen. And that is what I'm getting ready for. And that's why right now, I've been doing it for a while, right? But I'm going to start buying those dips way freaking harder. And I hope you're ready for a lot of cool crypto updates. If you want to trade, link is down below the Blowfin. You can use it from anywhere in the world. And you right now also got yourself some juicy bonuses for signing up. So just make sure you go ahead and check it out. Link, like I said, is down below.